Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Ba'asham Rakah Kodash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Akiam. And this is your brother Abawan back again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rakah Kodash. All praises and glory is due, especially in these times. Alright, and um just like you have Apple Pay, just like you have Apple ID, just like you have Apple Music, right? Just like you have all these different little services that Apple offers its iPhone users, the Apple ecosystem, right? Now, Apple to support brain implants control of its devices, right? And this is the newest in the MOTB news, or rather, I should say, the algorithm towards the MOTB, where you have these established big tech companies beginning to implement support in their technology for brain implants. Okay, so don't be surprised, right? Because this is an obvious turn of events if Microsoft, if Google, if Amazon, and like I said, the various tech companies begin to start creating creating support interfaces, right? Basically drivers in their devices, Sony PlayStation and Xbox might even do the same thing. They begin to start creating support interfaces for these RFID implantable technology, right? Both the one in the brain and even the one in the hand as well. That's why you have this NFC, right? Technology. Now, what would they call it? I think it's NFC. Yeah, that's why you have this NFC technology, and most phones nowadays are equipped with it. Okay, and that's why you are seeing even the EU push that decree that all technology has to start using Type C as its charging interface, because now ESO is trying to basically streamline all the technology to make everything easier you know, to make it easier to have a cross-platform, cross-device situation. Basically, trying to strengthen the Internet of Things, in which the MOTB will be the central device for the IoT. Okay, because this is how ESO operates. Man, I was just recently watching this movie. I'm not recently watching it, sharp, but I'm just saw the premise and I decided I'm going to watch it. Upgrade, where basically it's going into the miracles of the beast, especially when it comes to the brain chip, right? Where this dude basically got the ability to control his body, right? From being paralyzed to the ability to control his body, where he could walk and move again by getting a brain chip implanted into his body. And that's really what ESO is trying to push with this RFID micro chip technology, which is the MOTB. About all the great things that you can do with it, force miracles, force wonders, right? That's exactly what ESO, EDOM, the so-called Redman, is pushing. And now you're seeing more and more of these companies, right? These tech companies beginning to implement and interface this technology, right? So that shows you that, hey, these devils are preparing, okay, cooking in the lab currently in order to push this thing all over the earth, and they are trying to create the perfect, right, infrastructure, or rather the perfect way to push this technology globally, right? And it makes sense, right? And it makes sense, putting a, or rather, let me just read the subtitle of the article. iPhone maker works with startup Synchron on new brain computer interfaces to assist people with disabilities, right? Interfacing their technologies with the micro C chip, okay, with the MOTB. And we're already getting to that stage, so you already know that, hey, the C chip, like we always warn our people, okay, This technology is coming soon. The MOTB is coming soon. And this is what the MOTB, the mark of the beast, is. Okay. And it goes without saying, don't take it. But let's keep going into this article. This is the big thing that just came out recently. So this is an article from May 13th, 2025, from, of course, the Wall Street Journal. Okay. Apple is embracing the world of brain computer interfaces, unveiling a new technology that one day could revolutionize how humans interact with their devices, right? And this is the reason why you are seeing that, so many of these micro chip semiconductor companies, right, or factories are being built in America, Babylon the Great, because hey, most likely, man, this MOTB technology is basically going to be Babylon to the world, just like every other wicked philosophy and doctrine or wine all over the earth. Hey, the wine of fornication, right? The wine of fornication could also include the MOTB, right? And the wine of fornication could also include the MOTB. And this could be the final straw, the technology that ultimately makes all the nations to you know send those nuclear bombs over to America, Babylon the Great. This RFID implantable C hip, right? Because this is just me speaking as a man, but most likely what I expect to happen is that this technology does not um do any of the things I was promised. So it doesn't restore any of your and it doesn't restore any of your um movements, right, if you are paralyzed. Okay, doesn't increase your brain activity, right? It doesn't make it easier for it doesn't interface different forms of technology in order for you to control various other parts of or your various other devices, like the Internet of Things thing. Okay, but rather the only thing it does is, as it is written in the scriptures, it grants you a noisome and grievous source, right? That is the main thing. Okay, so the technology is not properly interfaced with the human body, and it just creates cancer and diseases for the people that are affected by it. Naturally, Esau will cover it up. Naturally, Esau will blame the situation on something else, right? And still telling people, oh, you can still take it, you can still take it. The technology is 100% safe. It's 100% safe. Like certain other things that were mandated upon the people in order for them to participate in quote unquote polite Edomite society, right? And this is exactly what is going to happen here as well, because I 100% believe that this C heap is not going to function as Esau has promised, because you know how this devil operates, man. He's the forger of lies, a physician of no value. There is no truth in Esau. So if he's coming out and talking about how, oh, the technology can do this, oh, the technology can do that, right? Giving you all these things that he hopes can come out of this technology is basically all just a probability, and it hasn't actually been tested to be able to do that. Okay, right? And a little bit recently, I think like last year, you had a guy that was actually C hit with Neuralink, Elon Musk Neuralink technology, and he had a brain implant, and I did a video on that. Bro, I wonder whatever happened to him. I haven't really seen any information about him for a while, so let's keep going into it, okay? And the reason why I closed that article from the Wall Street Journal is because when I need to sign in or log in or whatever, I know how to get the rest of the article, which is ridiculous. So let's look for something else. Design boom in the 100. Let's use this one, Fortune. So this is fortune.com. Apple probes next frontier with new brain implant standard, but what it really needs is to sell more iPhones. Lol. Anyway, Apple showcased its latest sci-fi vision on Tuesday by announcing that users of its products may one day be able to control them with brain signals. If achieved with the help of brain implants, it would mark another huge milestone for the company. The initiative, aimed at helping only disabled users, at least for now, shows that Apple still has its eye on cutting edge innovation, but it also highlights the company's challenge. Much of that innovation isn't destined for the general public or ready to be a big seller anytime soon, right? And that's what I think, right? That, oh, this technology, isn't properly implemented yet. This technology isn't perfect yet. It's not ready, right? But when has technology not being ready ever stopped ESA from pushing it to the public? Okay, and it definitely is more ready than you might think it is, right? Because you might think that, oh, this technology is still 10 years off, 20 years off, it will still take a lot of time to be able to properly use the technology, not realizing that, hey, ESA could be planning to roll this out in the next, within the next 5 months, right? Start setting everything up, and basically, similar to other events that happened in the past, right? Just, you know as soon as the technology doesn't just blow up in your head, they just push it out there, and let the people get sea hipped by it, which will ultimately lead to prophecy being fulfilled. Because, hey, there is no mistaking it. This is the MOTB which the Bible speaks of. So let's keep going into it. What Apple really needs, according to Wall Street, is something far more mundane: growth in sales of all its important iPhone. Nearly 3 years of largely stagnant revenue from the devices is weighing on the tech giant's shares, which is actually funny because so yeah, we've already gotten the main point out of that. The iPhone, right? Apple is trying to hold on. Okay, that's it's muted already or not? It's like I was saying, okay, which is funny because so you've already gotten all the information we want from that. So Apple is already preparing its own version of the neural link, its own version of the brain implant technology. And do not be surprised if other tech giants, Google, Microsoft, Sony, when it comes to the PlayStations, hell, even Nintendo, right? With the new Nintendo 2 Switch 2 that is coming out, don't be surprised if these companies, follow in Apple's footsteps and begin to create their own versions of the brain's chip that interfaces with their various technologies, right? And of course, it's all under the guise of progress. Oh, it will do this thing and it will help so many people, and it's a matter of convenience. This is the next step in future technology. And that's, of course, how ESA will market the technology in order for you to get it. Okay, and you already have so many people already receiving this mark, right, in their hands, and like I said before, even in their foreheads as well. All right, so let's go to the book of Revelation, the 14th chapter. It's like a Revelation, the 13th chapter, right? So this is the book of Revelation 13, verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, right? And this is, of course, referring to democracy, okay, where you have two sides, always two sides. Every part of the world you go to, you will find that there are only two major democratic parties that are always contesting the election. If one of these parties don't get their leader in office, the other one will be the one that gets the leader in office. The majority of the Senate and the different political posts are held by either one of these two parties, okay? This is basically what this is going into, right? He had two horns like a lamb, and he speak as a dragon. But whenever they want to, push a bill or push a law, these two parties are always usually in agreement, because it's two horns on the same lamb, two wings on the same bird. It's basically, a false um controlled opposition situation where you have two separate political parties, but they all operate under the same goal. Kind of similar to how here in Nigeria we have the APC and the PDP. and every single member of, or at the very least majority of the members of either APC or PDP have been in both of those parties at one point in their life, right? So you have PDP members that will jump ship and run to APC. Then you have APC members that will run to PDP, and the parties are usually just switching members left and right. So there isn't really a centralized ideology of where you can say, oh, well, this party are more like the Democrats, or this party are more like the Republicans, right? Or this party are more conservative, and this party are more, into the different weird ass ideologies that Esau pushes. Now, these two political parties don't even have what's the word I'm looking for? A philosophy, basically what I'm trying to say is that they don't have a ideology. That's what I'm looking for, right? Something that they are focused on, or a method of governance that they believe that will be better to improve the country. They don't even have that. So now continuing on, Revelation 13 verse 12, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. And the first beast, of course, is speaking of the dragon with the 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, of course, whose deadly wound was healed. Now, of course, this dragon is still very much, around during the time of this next beast. Okay, so let's continue reading. Revelation 13 verse 12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Right, and that's why you see the Greek and Roman aesthetic, right? The Greco-Roman aesthetic that is so popular on the earth. That's why you're always seeing every other day there's a new movie coming out about the Greek gods or the Roman gods or the glory of Rome or Alexander and how great he was, or the Romans and how great they were, or Caesar and all his glory, and so on and so forth. That's why you had that trend a while back about people talking about how, oh, they were thinking about the Roman Empire and the Roman Empire and so on and so forth, that, oh, this is that Roman Empire trend where you had these different Edomites, of course, men thinking about the Roman Empire because the second beast, right, America, Babylon the Great, through its media, through its even the culture, through its religion as well, the Roman Catholic Church, okay, has made the whole earth to worship the first beast, right? So basically now your Greco-Roman Empire is the cradle of civilization and all the greatest culture to exist on the earth. And this is when us humans went from being cavemen to starting to be enlightened. And this is how Esau changes the history and changes the story on the earth, right? Covering the faces of the judges thereof in order to push himself as the great people on the earth. Okay, so now let's keep going into it. So now Revelation 13 verse 13, and he doeth great wonders. And this is the point I wanted to get right here, that he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Right, so the miracles that Esau Edom performed, right, and also the political systems and the systems of government, right, that Esau Edom adopted from the Roman Empire, which is basically your this democracy, right, that is being pushed all over the earth, and this capitalism as well that is being pushed all over the earth. Because let's not forget, I will go to the book of Maccabees for that. That the idea of a single president, right, and a senate, okay, comes from the Romans. Let's get that. Let's get that. Let's get that.
Baba Igbo, abeg, tell me how your son is doing so well. Our sons are good contractors, but mine is still struggling to make profits. There is no big secret, my brother. It
I'm
is
looking for where I want to
Pampe.
start from.
Pampe?
Okay, so let's see the
How?
book of
My son transfers money to his
First
client
Maccabees
without paying
8,
charges. No stress of going to the
verse
bank. And that
12.
is how he
But
saves
with
more and
their
earns
friends
more.
and such
Wait,
as
wait, wait.
relied upon them, they kept
Aki?
amity,
Aki?
and
Before I
that
close
they
my
had
eyes, sign
conquered
up for
kingdoms
Pampe.
both
No,
far
no,
and high,
no. Pampe.
insomuch that
3
all
transfers,
all
no
that
bank
heard their
wahala. More
name
profit for you.
were afraid of them. And I'm trying to look for where I can start this precept from. Um, that should be from the top. But this is going into the Romans, okay? Let's just continue where I was at. This is going into the Romans, okay? And this is, of course, the Romans before Esau, Edom, took over, right? So now, First Maccabees 8, verse 15. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end that they might be well ordered, and that they committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all their country, and that they were all obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them. In consideration of these things, Judas chose. Okay, and that's basically all that's going into that. So you see, you had the Senate, right? 320 men within the Senate Council and one president, just to
Not
rule
yet.
over
The
all of
transfer
them
charges
for
are
1 year.
just too much.
So what I want to do now is I want to get, how many seats or how many members are in the House of Senate in Nigeria. Let's do the House of Senate in Nigeria first. Okay, the Nigerian Senate has 109 members, and these members are elected from the 109 senatorial districts, with each state having 3 districts and the Federal Capital Territory having one. So let's do in the United States. Alright, so the United States has 100 members, with each state represented by 2 senators, and these senators are elected for 6 year terms. Okay, so 100 members of the Senate in the US, and each serving 6 year terms. Okay, so let's do how did the Romans choose their Senate? Alright, the Roman Senate was not an elected body. Rather, membership was primarily determined by a combination of factors including wealth, family status, and past achievements. While the initial election process involved consuls who were elected by the people, it later shifted to the censors who held power to choose senators. Alright, so that's how they choose their senators. Okay, so yeah, so that's basically just going into the history of where this political system that you use, your so-called democracy, comes from. And it's goes back to the Roman Empire, right? The first beast. Okay, so let's keep going. Now, Revelation 13, verse 15. And he had the power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak, and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, and this is the main point right here once again, going into the sea heap, right? And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hands or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Right, and this is going into the MOTB, and we are slowly coming into that time. And it's important to important to remember that this is the next major prophecy that is coming on the earth. So amen, pretty soon everybody is going to be, all these people that are in the world will be getting sea hit. And like we said, that we of the great millstone have said so many times, starting from the elder apostles on down, don't take that sea hip, okay? So now Revelation 14. Okay, this is not what I'm looking for. So like I went to go and missed the wrong. Okay, here it is. Revelation 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. The smoke of their torment ascendeth up for ever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast and his image, and whatsoever receiveth the mark of his name can. So basically, man, if you take the sea heap, the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to destroy you, full stop, okay? And the scriptures doesn't say that, oh, but if thou repentest of receiving that's not how that works, okay? And this is why we constantly tell our people, we constantly tell you jakes out here, do not take that mark, okay? Do not take the MOTB, because there will be no repentance or deliverance for you if you do. Okay, so with that, I'll end the video right here. Once again, all praises, honor and glory unto the Most High Yahweh Ba'asham Yawashai Ba'asham Raka Kwadash Wa Abad Babal Shalom.